my name is Elise. I'm 47 now, and the night that unfolded with Marcus lingers in my mind like an unfinished symphony, its notes haunting and unresolved. It wasn't a dramatic, movie-like moment. It was quiet, intimate, and profoundly real, a turning point not just for us, but for how I understood love itself. Before Marcus, I'd spent years carrying the weight of past heartbreaks. Like many of us, I'd learned to build walls, brick by painful brick. Divorce had taught me that trust was a fragile thing, easily shattered. Marcus, with his quiet strength and deep brown eyes, was a different kind of presence. He didn't try to tear down my walls, he simply waited patiently on the other side. Our connection grew slowly over 3 years, deepening from fleeting flirtations to a tender, soul-bearing intimacy that felt safe. We were two people who had weathered storms, now seeking shelter together. That rainy February evening in 2025, I hadn't intended to lay my heart bare. In my Portland apartment, nestled above a bustling bookstore, I'd lit a cluster of vanilla-scented candles, their warm glow dancing on the walls. Soft classical music box preludes filled the air, a subtle invitation to something more than just another night together. It was an invitation to a deeper conversation, a silent request for authenticity. When Marcus arrived, his dark coat glistening with rain, he paused in the doorway. His worn leather satchel dropped with a soft thud, and when our hands brushed, the contact lingered, sending a shiver through me. As he spoke, recounting a chaotic shift at the community garden where he worked, I felt that familiar comfort. I laughed, my gaze tracing the faint lines around his eyes, the way his lips curved in those quiet pauses. It was a beautiful rhythm we had found, a gentle dance of two people who knew each other's steps. When my turn came, a courage I hadn't known I possessed rose within me. "I've been reflecting on what I want," I said, my voice steady yet vulnerable. He leaned forward, curiosity softening his features. "Yeah." I offered a small smile, my heart racing. "I want us to stop dancing around the truth. No more halfway measures. I want to voice what feels right, what doesn't, when I crave more or need space. And I want you to feel safe doing the same." He didn't recoil. He nodded, a quiet acknowledgement that mirrored my own longing. His hand found mine, fingers lacing together with a tenderness that felt like a vow. The moment was sacred, a foundation not just for the night but for something enduring. Then, a shift. It was subtle, almost imperceptible. Marcus adjusted his posture, a slight lean that broke the rhythm we'd built. It was like a violin string snapping mid-note, jarring me from the harmony I'd surrendered to. I had just offered him the fragile pieces of my heart, and now he was moving too quickly, too independently. Emotionally, I froze. It wasn't a loss of trust, one trusted him deeply, but the sting of feeling unheard, of being on a different page, unsettled me. He didn't notice at first. To him, it might have seemed a natural progression. But to me, it was off-key, premature. I stayed silent, watching him, waiting for him to sense the discord. When his eyes met mine, I spoke, my tone gentle but firm. "I told you what I needed, Marcus." He eased back, his brow furrowing thoughtfully. "I thought I was following your lead," he said slowly, a trace of doubt in his voice. "You were," I nodded, until that moment shifted. That could have been the breaking point, a crack we couldn't repair. But instead, it became a crossroads. He didn't defend himself or retreat. He asked, "Where did I lose you?" And in that question, the night pivoted. I took a deep breath, letting the truth unravel. When I opened up, it wasn't just about preferences or boundaries. I gave you a part of me I've guarded for years, the part that fears being overlooked. When you moved too fast, it wasn't just the physical change. It felt like you stepped away from me emotionally, deciding the next move instead of waiting for us to find it together. My voice trembled, but I held his gaze. He was silent, the weight of my words settling between us, then let out a long, shaky breath. I wanted to make it perfect. I thought I had to take us further. It was already perfect, I whispered. That's why I asked you to stay with me in that moment, not rush past it. His eyes softened, understanding dawning like a slow sunrise. He reached for my hand again, his touch deliberate, intentional. This time, I felt him return not just physically, but fully present. What followed was transformed. His pace aligned with mine, his attention attuned to my every signal, my shallow breaths, the slight tilt of my head, the unspoken cues I'd barely realized I was giving. I murmured the things I cherished, where to linger, when to pause. He listened, not with duty, but with a profound care, his touch evolving as he absorbed my rhythm. It overwhelmed me, this rare sensation of being truly seen, not just observed, but felt in my core. For the first time, I wasn't merely reacting, I was responding, because he'd stopped guessing and started hearing me. The silence that followed wasn't hollow, it was a haven, brimming with trust. He looked at me with a calm focus, no longer striving to impress, but simply showing up. I leaned into him, whispering, "That's it." He smiled, not with pride, but with a gentle recognition that love isn't forged in grand acts but in the quiet choice to stay, to feel, to return. We all want this, don't we? To be met in a moment of vulnerability, to have our truth be more important than someone else's desire to get it right. We lingered there, hands entwined, the rain a soft percussion against the windows. I realized love doesn't demand perfection, it thrives in the pauses, in the listening, in the coming back. Marcus hadn't nailed it on the first try, but he cared enough to stop, to ask, to learn. And in that sacred space between my vulnerability and his understanding, we built something lasting. The next morning, as sunlight filtered through the rain-streaked glass, we sat with coffee, the air still carrying the intimacy of the night before. Marcus traced the rim of his mug, his voice low. "I've never had someone trust me like that, to tell me when I'm off, and mean it." I smiled, my heart full. "And I've never had someone listen like you did, really listen." Weeks later, in early March, we took a walk along the Willamette River. He stopped to pick up a smooth river stone, handing it to me. "A reminder," he said, "of staying present." I tucked it into my pocket, feeling its weight as a symbol of our growth. Our conversations deepened about his dreams of expanding the garden into a community hub, about my own longing to write again, to capture these moments on paper. Each exchange reinforced the foundation we'd laid that night. One evening, as spring rain fell again, we hosted a small gathering, friends from the garden, neighbors from my building. Marcus played guitar, his fingers coaxing melodies that echoed our journey, while I read a short story I'd written, inspired by that February night. The room buzzed with warmth, but my eyes kept finding his, a silent acknowledgement of how far we'd come. A friend, noticing our glances, teased, "You two have your own language now." Marcus laughed, squeezing my hand. "We're still learning the dialect." By late April, our bond had weathered more missteps, missed calls, a heated debate over weekend plans, but each time, we returned to that night's lesson. We learned that the right way to do things is the way that honors both people. One afternoon, as we planted herbs in his garden, I tripped over a root, landing in the mud. He helped me up, his laughter mixing with mine, and said, "See? Even the ground wants us to pause." I kissed him then, mud-streaked and all, feeling the truth of it. We were stronger for every stumble, every return. Love, I learned, isn't a straight path. It's a melody with off notes, a dance with missteps, but it's the choice to listen, to recalibrate, that makes it sing. This story isn't just about Marcus and me, it's about the universal human desire to be truly seen and understood. It's about the courage to be vulnerable and the grace to listen when someone else is. It's a testament to the idea that the most profound connections are often forged not in perfect moments,